sleeping dorm to go to sleep and the time that I awoke on the morning of December 7th, 2005. A light-skinned program man, allegedly named Isaac, confessed to me that on the night of December 6, 2005, he was the one who committed the thefts, and that was good for me. The theft of these items depleted my resources since I had to use the last of my money to partially pay for the installation of a new lock on my safety deposit box, and the $66 lost in the money order was earmarked for expenses. For example, food purchased and eaten away from PGM and holiday entertainment. Since this theft left me broke during the holiday period, I could not eat my meals outside PGM or stay outside on the holidays. Given that the Chicago Police Department has to start the prosecutions off, and given that the security guards and others who work at the Harold Washington Library Center are involved in this, they have improperly barred me from entering the Harold Washington Library Center, which is located at 400 South State Street, Chicago, Illinois 60605. I began using the Woodson Library at 9525 South Halsted Street in Chicago after October 26, 2006, because on that date I was barred from re-entering the HWLC, even though no law allows a public building to bar an individual. The only two laws which could be seen as even being remotely involved here are Illinois Criminal Statute 720 ILCS 5/21-5A, criminal trespass to state-supported land, and 720 ILCS 5/21-3A1, criminal trespass to property. (720) ILCS 5/21-5A, criminal trespass to state-supported land, clearly states that A, whoever enters upon land supported in whole or in part with state funds or federal funds administered or granted through state agencies, or remains in any building on such land after receiving prior to such entry the notice from the state or its representative that such entry is forbidden, or remains upon such land or in such building after receiving notice from the state or its representative to depart, and who thereby interferes with another person's lawful use or enjoyment of such building or land, commits a Class A misdemeanor. Therefore, I can only be asked to leave the HWLC and any other public building in the state of Illinois only at specific times when I'm objectively determined to be interfering with another person's lawful use or enjoyment of the HWLC. I cannot be simply barred from re-entering the HWLC. This law would be something which would be in order to acknowledge the person's right to freedom of speech, and to acknowledge that right to freedom of speech and expression is only to be circumscribed at such times as that right infringes upon the ability of others to enjoy the public facilities. Moreover, 720 ILCS 5/21-3A1, criminal trespass to property, clearly states that A, whoever, 1, knowingly and without lawful authority enters or remains within or on a building, commits a Class B misdemeanor. For purposes of this item 1 of this subsection, this section shall not apply to being in a building which is open to the public while the building is open to the public during its normal hours of operation. Nor shall this section apply to a person who enters a public building under the reasonable belief, I'm sorry, I'm having major problems with the webcam right now. Moreover, 720 ILCS 5/21-3A1, criminal trespass to property, clearly states that A, whoever knowingly and without lawful authority enters or remains within or on a building commits a Class B misdemeanor. For purposes of this item 1 of this subsection, and that was item 1 which I just stated, This section shall not apply to being in a building which is open to the public while the building is open to the public during its normal hours of operation, nor shall this section apply to a person who enters a building upon the reasonable belief that the building is still open to the public. Therefore, I cannot be kept out of the HWLC, clearly a public building, while the HWLC is open to the public during its normal hours of operation, or while I am under the reasonable belief that the HWLC is still open to the public.